You're listening to the New York Sports Show, the number one all New York sports podcast. Hosted by Dominic Konareski.
Hello and welcome to the Bronx Rundown. I'm Dominic Konareski.
And I'm Derek Abrego.
We're going to talk everything New York sports, starting off with Robert Saleh, who is now in the unemployment line. He got fired yesterday, early in the morning. What are your initial thoughts on that, Derek?
He's a scapegoat. He's definitely being used as a scapegoat today. Obviously, we have other subjects to talk about the whole Jets organization, but just like definitely, there's something going on behind the scenes.
There has to be 100% something going on behind the scenes, and I mainly say it as the Nathaniel Hackett headline, that Robert Saleh had conversations about firing Hackett. He was planning on doing it sometime this week, and then boom, Saleh himself gets fired. And I know Jeff Ubrich, I know he's very well liked, very well respected in the locker room, because in the football locker room, respect is everything, because you could lose a locker room very fast if a prominent voice in there does not show respect, because then everyone kind of falls in line.
Oh, 100%. Now, do you think that Schumacher is still going to get fired this week?
No, I don't think Hackett's going to get fired. And let me tell you, Ubrich has the respect, and I feel like Nathaniel Hackett has the respect too. He has the likeness of Aaron Rodgers, which plays a very prominent tone, which honestly, it plays a massive tone. Nathaniel Hackett is Aaron Rodgers' guy. And though it came out that Rodgers had no say in this firing, I can't help but believe that to be a lie. Because there's no way that Aaron Rodgers had literally zero say in the firing of Saleh. Because we all know, it's been reported, the relationship between Aaron Rodgers and Saleh worsened week by week, day by day, after Saleh threw Rodgers under the bus for his Egypt trip.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, that's right. But are we really going to take a word from a man who's been struggling the last few games? Obviously, great career overall, but Rodgers, maybe he's trying to use it as a way out of having a bad season.
Rodgers is showing his age. He's 41 at the end of this year in December. So the New York Jets have a 40-year-old quarterback who just threw 3 interceptions in London, which was the worst thing to happen to the British since the death of Queen Elizabeth. You know, we saw the death of Robert Saleh's head coaching career. 2-3 this season. He's 20-36 overall as a head coach. But let me look at it this way, though, and this is a very unique perspective. The New York Jets hire Robert Saleh, essentially force him to draft Zach Wilson. You have a rookie head coach, a rookie offensive coordinator in Mike LaFleur, and then you also have a rookie quarterback. I mean, that has to be one of the worst trios in football.
An equation for disaster.
Exactly. So then LaFleur, he becomes the scapegoat. Mm-hmm. It is in that own sense. The Jets' quarterback situation has been horrible, and that's not something that you could particularly blame Robert Saleh for. I mean, you have Trevor Siemian starting games for the Jets. You have Tim Boyle starting games for the New York Jets. That is something that put Robert Saleh in an unwinnable situation. Now you have Aaron Rodgers, who's back from an Achilles injury that is career-ending for some players, especially in that age range at 39 going on to 40 at that time, and he's throwing 3 interceptions, and the offense is horrible. You can't blame Robert Saleh for Alan Lazard's league-leading 6 dropped passes this season.
Oh, I mean, to be fair, you have so much going on, a bunch of disastrous things. There's no reason why Rodgers should still be playing in the league as of right now. You should have at least a decent backup. You know, as a Giants fan, we don't have much. Still don't have a backup either way. But using Saleh as a scapegoat, I don't believe it was right idea. And I think he recently had a contract extension.
Yeah, I mean, he still had a year left in his contract. The New York Jets are still going to pay Robert Saleh. So though Robert Saleh is unemployed, he's still getting a payday. He is making, I saw earlier today, an average of about $500,000 a month.
Why can't we make that?
I know, that's what I'm saying. Well, maybe if you guys like, comment, share, and subscribe the Bronx Rundown, we will be like Robert Schaller. The only difference is we will be employed, which he's not.
We'd also be giving you guys content.
I know. We'll be giving you guys some wins. But on a serious note, the fourth season, the Jets went 4-13, then 7-10, 7-10, now 2-3. The Jets still have the opportunity to go out Monday Night Football and take first place away from the Bills and then have first place. I'm pretty sure it would be a shared first place, so it's not sole possession. Mm-hmm. But the Jets only second place in the AFC East, so this is still a season that's still right in front of the Jets. It's not, like a I'm breaking down type thing, or this is a lost season. The Jets are still well in striking range. I mean, literally, they will be in first place with a win this upcoming Monday night.
I feel like we talked about this already, but like in previous conversations, but this is a division for the Jets to lose.
Yes.
This is a very winnable division. The Bills, as inconsistent as they are lately, once the Jets get hot, maybe they have a nice, smooth rest of the year. I'm hoping it is that way.
I'll put it this way, though. No team in NFL history has made the playoffs after a midseason coaching firing. Now, the last time the New York Jets fired a head coach midseason was 1975. Woody Johnson has never done that before midseason, obviously, in his 25 years as the Jets owner. The Jets are really in uncharted waters. I mean, they have had this since the 1970s. And I think that they really will be that first team to break the record of, making the playoffs with, mid-season interim head coach because of how the AFC East is. Because the Bills aren't a great team this year as they've been in the past.
I feel like the Bills, with losing Stephon Diggs, they're not as a threat as they were last year. Obviously, they're going to struggle a bit, but on paper, they're supposed to be a good team. You have the Jets or you have the Bills. Kind of got to decide in between.
Wait, can we talk about Stephon Diggs for a second?
Oh, 100%.
Okay, Stephon Diggs kind of, sucked on the Bills last season. I mean, that was an ugly breakup. It was an awkward breakup, but there's nothing more awkward than finding out that Stephon Diggs was having
an affair with Cardi
an affair
B.
with 8-month pregnant Cardi B. That was that's some stuff right there.
When
man.
I saw that, it was funny.
When I saw that, I kind of did a double take because I'm just like, hold up, wait.
Stephon Diggs?
Look, he may have been sucking
on the field.
He may have been sucking on the field, but he was getting sucked off the field. I'll just put it that way.
Game is game. Game is game. Can't deny him. Game is game.
That has to be the most bizarre headline ever, though, of Stephon Diggs having sex with Cardi B at 8 months pregnant. I don't think I ever would have expected to be going about my Monday afternoon and then just seeing ESPN drop that banger.
And then when you search up Stephon Diggs,
that's all you see now. It's just Stephon Diggs and Cardi B.
When it says see familiar art, like people, Cardi B's the first one to pop up.
That really is insane. But what's more insane is how much money Igor Shesterkin just rejected Tuesday afternoon from the New York Rangers.
This hurts me personally. As a Rangers fan, this hurts me.
It's crazy. I just want to know how much he wants then. $88 million across 8 years. That's an $11 million AAV. Biggest goalie contract in NHL history. Shesterkin rejected it almost immediately. So at this point, going on, to his age 29 season.
Getting up there in age already.
What is he expecting contract-wise? At least money. I mean, 8 years, that provides security in New York. $11 million a year, $88 million total. I mean, that's the biggest contract. That's a record-setting contract. How could you say no to that? How much more do you want?
Shoot, if I were hitting his position, give me the check. I will take it. $88 million. That obviously maybe he wants a change of scenery, but $88 million is just something you don't turn away.
And let me add, he's coming off of a season. I mean, he's coming off of back-to-back seasons that's been uncomparable to his 2021-2022 tenure. I mean, he had a .935 save percentage, and then 2022, 2023, .916, and then last season, .912. I mean, those are all very respectable, top of the line numbers. But I mean, compared to having a .935 save percentage, looking at .935 compared to .912, you can't really compare those two. I mean, I feel like those are in two different ballparks almost. And Shesterkin has always gotten into some kind of whether it's at the beginning or middle of the season, he's always gotten into some kind of slump. Now, players are allowed to slump, but
not the way he does.
Not the way he does. Because when he's bad, he's awful. I mean, he's New York Rangers.
Aaron Judge playoffs bad.
We'll get to that in a second, but when it comes to Shesterkin, I mean, the New York Rangers were playing Jonathan Quick more. Veteran Jonathan Quick, who, yes, he had a queer revival. 100% he had a queer revival. But, I mean, that goes to show how dire the Igor Shesterkin was the last season. The situation was. And, I mean, I do think a contract will be worked out because I can't picture any other team offering him more than $88 million than the Rangers did. So I do think he's going to remain a Ranger, but it's going to be at the point to where I feel like he's going to have to settle for less than what he wants because, I mean, at this point, a record-setting contract you deny.
I feel like the age is getting to him, but do you think it's all ego now?
I do think it's all ego. And, we just mentioned the save percentage number going down. Look at the GAA. That 2021-2022 season, it was a 207. Last season, it was a 258. So his GAA, it has gone up. Now, it's a career average of 243, which is, respectable. But all I'm saying is, Igor Shesterkin, yes, Igor Shesterkin is an amazing goalie. He is one of the best goalies right now in the league. The New York Rangers goalie situation, they've been extremely lucky with for about the last 20 years. Igor Shesterkin is that guy. But at the same time, I mean, what does he want? $100 million? It's a record-setting contract.
That's something you don't see in hockey nowadays.
That's something
goalies
you don't.
Especially.
Yeah.
$88 million, like you said, it's record-breaking.
Yeah, unheard of.
Now he's gonna want maybe $100 million. It's either he's gonna be given less years for a high amount of money, or it just might not work out. I'm hoping it does work out.
I want to know, because Shesterkin himself, he's been fairly quiet on this entire contract situation. I want to know, is it more money he wants, more years, more what? What is keeping him from penning his name on that piece of paper?
Maybe it is more years. The amount of time he spent with the Rangers, maybe he just wants to feel it like it's home.
Maybe be fully Ranger for life, because, 8 years... going into his age 29 season, so that brings him to 36, 37?
Give or take about.
Yeah, about so. Maybe he wants to be a Ranger till, let's say, 39, 40. I don't think he's going to be good at age 39 or 40.
No, I don't think anyone would give him a contract that large.
Really don't. That's going to be a contract that comes to bite the Rangers in the butt.
Obviously, he has respectable numbers, but there should be no reason why he has a big enough contract that goes past maybe his age 36, 37
exactly.
year.
I agree with you 100% on that. And now bringing up, you just mentioned it a few minutes ago, Aaron Judge. Now, Aaron Judge, playoff Aaron Judge, it has been a completely different form of what we've seen in the regular season Aaron Judge, who's, a future Hall of Famer, home run hitting guy. Aaron Judge has a 208 batting average with 37 hits, 13 homers, 25 RBIs, and 31 scored in 46 postseason games in his career.
That is atrocious.
It really is.
When you think about it, I saw a video the other day. It was stating that, MVP curse. Whoever was the top candidates for MVP, if they made it into the playoffs, they just had a terrible run go into the playoffs. Bobby Witt, I don't believe he got a hit last night either. He still hasn't gotten a hit in the DS. Judge got his first hit yesterday on an infield single, so he got lucky off of that. And Shohei Ohtani's also been a little bit quiet since Game 1 with that 3-run home run off of Dylan Cease. So, I mean...
But what I want to know, though, okay, I understand that MVP course, and in a way I agree with it. But Aaron Judge career-wise, I mean, the Yankees have made the playoffs all but 1 year that Aaron Judge has been on the team like full-time, as an everyday player. He has not been an MVP candidate, his entire career with the Yankees. He's been for the majority of it, but not every year. I mean, him having essentially a Mendoza line flat batting average in the playoffs.
It's something you don't expect out of Aaron Judge at all.
Yeah, exactly. It's something you don't expect. It's something that the Yankees can't have, because if you win the World Series, you look at your star player. You look at the player who was consistent all season long, that was able to give you big postseason numbers. And Aaron Judge has not been able to do that in his Yankee career.
The only consistent bat that we've had is Giancarlo Stanton, but as of late, it just doesn't seem like that at all. Yankees are not hitting. Gleyber Torres, he's been great leadoff-wise. He's been our number one guy to get on base as of late since the All-Star game. 2 walks to lead off the game yesterday from him. Hoping they wake up with the bats. It gets better, but, getting shut down by Cole Reagans for most of the game was terrible. Obviously, we knocked him out, but the amount of pitches he threw, but it should have been knocked out, obviously, by the amount of runs we scored.
It definitely should have been, and, when it comes to the Mets and Yankees, the situations that they are in, I think both of them have a great opportunity to come out with their ALDS wins. It's more interesting with the Mets due to the fact that this is just more like a regular divisional series for them because they're facing the Phillies. They never faced the Phillies before in the playoffs. So I have my eyes more on that because I feel like we all kind of expect the Yankees to come back and win that series. I mean, the Yankees, if you include the playoffs, they're 25-8 against the American League Central. I mean, the loss against Kansas City. Now, folks, just to add some context, this is pre-recorded Tuesday night, so the series is tied up 1-1. That loss against Kansas City in Game 2, that really was, Jazz Chisholm said luck. In a way, I believe that. I don't really feel like there's much luck in baseball, but I do feel like Kansas City definitely had some lucky hits there, some lucky defensive plays that led to the win. But overall, it's also, you could argue, to be an inexcusable loss for the Yankees because the Yankees are a better team than Kansas City. They did not show it, though. I feel like they're yet to show it overall in this series.
Oh, 100%. Carlos Rodon was absolutely locked in yesterday, and up until, a few lucky hits, then the Royals just took advantage from there. So we can call it luck, but they capitalized on having runners in scoring position, something the Yankees haven't done all series. First inning of the first game, runners on second and third, start off the game, nothing came out of it. Kind of wish there was a way, maybe small ball is a way to go with the Yankees as of right now. Get someone over to third, bunt the ball, see if you can get someone to crash in, score that run, but it is not helping nothing's going right for the Yankees as of right now.
It really hasn't been, and, I wouldn't say it's concerning, but it's definitely something that's more of a question as to why is it when something that hasn't been connecting for the Yankees finally connects, then something else isn't connecting. It's like they're never able to just have a pure 50-50 consistent, baseball game. It's always one thing or another.
100%, especially with the bullpen being phenomenal the last 2 games. Clay Holmes, we all hate him. Cardiac Clay, he's been terrible as of the All-Star break with saving opportunities.
Yes, but you know what, though? The playoffs.
He
we talked about this.
Hasn't given up a run, which is phenomenal. It didn't give up a run Game 1. I don't remember if he pitched yesterday, but same thing with Luke Weaver. Obviously, he has electric stuff. The Weave dog. What's surprising, we could have used Marcus Stroman maybe for a long reliever, but I feel like the way we have the bullpen now, I like it. Tim Hill had that one bad outing as well. Just luck, and then Royals just capitalized on it. It shouldn't be that way. Yankees should also be capitalizing on Royals' mistakes. Rodon left a few bad pitches. Obviously, that slider down the middle, somewhat middle in to Salvi, hit it left center field. That's kind of what gave him the go-ahead fire to kind of rack on.
And I kind of want to add to what you said about Marcus Stroman and the ALDS roster. Marcus Stroman. Now, if you told me that Marcus Stroman wasn't going to be on the ALDS roster when we signed him, I would have thought that you were, on something. I think it's a massive disappointment that he missed out on the ALDS. I think he will be on the ALCS if the Yankees advance that far. But it is extremely disappointing that Marcus Stroman missed out on it. I mean, rightfully so. I don't think he deserved to be on the ALDS roster.
When we went to that game.
Exactly. We were at Marcus Stroman's final starting game this season, and he got lit up like someone lighting up a cigarette. It was fire everywhere. He put up such an atrocious performance. He was hit hard, and I know it was a last minute start, but this entire season as a whole for Marcus Stroman, we're talking about an ERA above 430.
Something you don't see out of him a lot.
Something you don't see. And Marcus Stroman, he could handle New York. He proved that with the New York Mets. Marcus Stroman could pitch in New York. He could pitch in Yankee Stadium. He just can't pitch as a New York Yankee, in my opinion.
If you were to tell me that John Birdie would be playing first base for the Yankees in an ALDS game and Marcus Stroman is not on a playoff roster,
that's insane.
And I would have lots of concerns.
And I also want to hit on what we both said about Clay Holmes. Clay Holmes overall in the playoffs is amazing. I mean, shades of Mo, there have been more men who have walked on the moon than have scored on Clay Holmes in the playoffs. I know Clay Holmes has only pitched like 10, 11 innings in the playoffs, but
that's something you don't say other than Mariano Rivera.
I know, that's insane. That's probably going to change as time goes on, but right now I just want to look at that stat and appreciate it.
Obviously, big moments as a closing role.
Yes.
Kind of wish he kind of locked in with those. Think he blew how many blown saves?
No, too many to mention, in my opinion.
Oh,
it was a very down season. Now, Clay Holmes, he only had one career save before the Yankees traded for him, and that was in the minor leagues. Clay Holmes was not a closing pitcher. The Yankees put him in that role, and I know that overall, ERA-wise, he has done a great job, but you can't, in my opinion, you can't necessarily hate on the guy for having difficulty closing a game when he spent the majority of his career, all of his career, before wearing pinstripes, not in that kind of role.
Oh, 100%. The way he's been used in the postseason, or as of late, he's been great at being that setup guy, that middle to long reliever. He's great with just getting out of innings when he needs to. Obviously, not the ninth inning. We all know how bad it is.
Mm-hmm.
Blown way too many games. It's been so long that I think I lost my hair because of him.
And you know what? Moving on back to football. New York Giants, Tyrone Tracy. I know you're going to like that. That's your guy, Dirk.
Oh, my God.
He's had an amazing rookie season. 5 games, 1 game started. We're talking about 158 rushing yards off of 30 attempts. He's 25, which is, pretty old, to be a rookie. Yeah, to 100%. Be a rookie. But I think the Giants may have something here with Tyrone Tracy. What are your thoughts on his season?
As of right now, we'll take it for granted. We can't take it for granted. Losing Malik Neighbors, now we have him. Got to appreciate him as much as possible. The whole team has been great. Obviously, losing to the Cowboys kind of hurt, but we all expected to lose. But beating the Seahawks, that came out of surprise.
Yeah, and that's when he really got to shine. Up until that point, he did not even have 30 rushing yards on the season. Then against the Seahawks, 18 attempts, 129 rushing yards. That's where his stat line blew up because he got the opportunity to start, and, he made the most of it.
I feel like now we know who we can rely on. Obviously, Devin Singletary was still a running back, but, maybe it's a new era for Tracy to kind of be our running back. Maybe for, rest of his
possibly
career.
add some, kind of running back competition. I mean, I like Singletary, but it's also nice to see what Tracy could do. Now, I don't think that Tracy really deserves to start over Singletary right now, but it would be interesting to see, if they got the similar amount of reps per game to see how those numbers will look.
Oh, 100%. And then imagine once we get Malik Neighbors off, once he comes back off of concussion protocols. He was out last week because of what happened at the Cowboys game. Obviously, we both thought he was dead.
That was insane.
No commentating on...
No, it was like watching... I'm pretty sure that Bob Costas was in the booth because it was like watching, incompetent commentators. How could you not address Malik Neighbors just lying motionless, like half on the sideline, half on the field?
Oh, 100%. I mean, even to speak on Bob Costas, it's just terrible.
Bob Costas is so boring. It's...
I think
it's disgusting how that guy has a job still. Bob Costas should not be commentating a baseball game. He should not be allowed near a baseball stadium for the rest of his life. Now, going back like 10 years, Bob Costas, amazing commentator. I mean, I would rank him up inside the top 10 for overall sport commentators, but now he could put you to sleep. I'm pretty sure he almost fell asleep in Game 2 of the Yankees LDS.
I want Joe Buck.
Give me Joe Buck.
100%. It's so boring. That first game was it the second game? Correction. Wait, now I'm brain farting. First game when Verdugo hits the opposite single. There was no commentating on Jazz scoring. It was just Verdugo to left, Jazz scored, Yankees leading. I'm pretty sure I aged a few years just watching that game.
I'm just watching Yankee games on mute at this point. I'm just
100%.
watching it on mute. And, keeping the track on football, Daniel Jones, so many people. Now, I'm in a ton of New York Giant Facebook groups. So many people are still hating on Daniel Jones, and I frankly don't understand why. He's 2-3 through 5 games. Already won more games than he did last year in 6 games. He threw for more yards already. He's thrown for 1,138 yards and has thrown more touchdowns than interceptions. He's only thrown 1 interception in his last several games, and that was against the Dallas Cowboys. In his last 2 games, he has not thrown, and he's only thrown 1 interception in his last 2 games.
See, as a professional Daniel Jones hater, he's gonna have those mediocre years every other give or so year. It's expected out of him. He's gonna have a mediocre this year, and we're gonna be like, oh wait, he's our quarterback. He's gonna get better, and then next year he's gonna absolutely blow. So I mean, there's no reason to be hype about this. Maybe it's because new faces on the team gives him more opportunities, but I don't think it will be a long run success.
I don't think it will be either. I think that he's gonna, have definitely a rebound year. But, I mean, at the same time, a rebound year for Daniel Jones doesn't mean a playoff year for the Giants.
Oh, 100%.
It is great to see the Giants' defense, though. I mean, a league-leading 22 sacks through 5 games this season. It's very refreshing to see. The Giants are in a very similar situation that the Jets are in. Great defense, inconsistent. You could even say poor offense. With an inconsistent quarterback, because right now I am considering Aaron Rodgers to be an inconsistent quarterback.
To be fair, but at least you guys have balls enough to get rid of your head coach.
Well, I wouldn't say that Dable...
He is a scapegoat, but for us...
I wouldn't say that Dable's the problem, though.
You don't think so?
No, and I'll tell you this. I don't think Dable is the problem because he's so respected in the locker room.
But I don't think
the way
the Giants, I don't think it's with respect anymore. I feel like
it's about what have you done for me lately? The Giants have not won a lot lately. I mean, they're winning now, but when it comes to Brian Dable, the Giants were going through head coaches like underwear in a way. It was a new head coach almost every other season. It seemed like for a few years.
Very concerned and comment on underwear because you said every other year, but. Go. But you're not wrong.
I'm not the biggest fan of Brian Dable. I have faith in him. I don't think he's the issue. I think Daniel Jones is the issue because I look at it like this. If Brian Dable is the issue, why did Tommy DeVito succeed last year? An undrafted practice squad quarterback do better than Daniel Jones if Brian Dable, the head coach, is the issue.
Andy Dalton, he's also succeeding.
So,
I feel like it was their time to shine. Maybe it was DeVito's few games to shine, but him being third string.
No, I just want to know the Giants' plans on Tommy DeVito. Are they going to trade the kid? Are they going to, keep him as a third string? Because Tommy DeVito is definitely a QB2. I think he could be a starter on a quarterback-needy team. In all fairness, I feel like Tommy DeVito, though he's really the emergency option for the New York Giants, I feel like he's proven that he could be, a low-level starter in the league. We haven't gotten that big of a size from him. Maybe he could be a starter on the big team. And look at Brock Purdy. The only difference separating Brock Purdy and Tommy DeVito overall is just one pick. Brock Purdy was Mr. Irrelevant. Tommy DeVito, undrafted. Brock Purdy got the opportunity. The 49ers decided to stick with him. I think if the Giants decided to stick with Tommy DeVito, I think that it will be in a similar situation. I think DeVito would give them a 3-2 record. I think it would just be flip-flop from 2-3.
Mm-hmm.
But it's really hard to say because DeVito surprised a lot of people last season.
Oh, 100%. But if you were, say DeVito was traded or, signed to a different team, who do you think he goes to? Who do you think needs him?
A QB-needy team. You could say Indianapolis because of everything going on with Anthony Richardson.
Joe Flacco.
Yeah, Joe Flacco.
Joe Flacco.
No, Joe Flacco's having a hell of the end of the career. And the fact that the Jets, kind of ruined him for 3 years, took 3 years of his life, his career away. That should be a crime. Woody Johnson should be, locked up and thrown in a Jets jail for that.
I feel like the Browns could use DeVito. Especially with how bad Deshaun Watson is.
Yeah, Deshaun Watson
but they're going to eat
really
up
bad.
A big contract, obviously.
Yeah, and obviously they're not, because in football, money is everything. I cannot picture the Browns, going from Deshaun Watson, eating that big contract, to Tommy DeVito. I think their pride, and their just their aura. They don't want their aura get ruined.
There is no aura anymore. After this last game with the Browns,
it was bad. It was bad.
Just walks off. If that was Jameis Winston, imagine he would grind through those 6 yards.
100%.
But obviously, they're not going to give him an opportunity as much as they do with Watson. It's terrible. Pretty much sports are all business.
It really is. Sport teams, they are businesses now. It's different than how it was, I would say, even 20 years ago in the early 2000s. It's very different.
Mm-hmm.
And, you could say it's for the good, it's for the worse. Really, really hard to say with everything going on in the sports world. It depends what kind of team you're rooting for, what kind of fan you are. But when it comes to, contracts, I personally... I don't think I would want to eat, let's say, a $50 million contract to go out and get someone who, we would only be paying $900K.
100%. Especially, and this week especially, the Bears made the Panthers game interesting.
Very, very interesting.
That was the only Panthers game that I will ever watch. That was the only interesting game this season, or maybe the last 2 seasons, that I was actually interested in watching when it includes the Panthers.
And you know what? We were just talking about, QB-needy teams. Bryce Young. I think he's going to end up being traded. What are some trade options for Bryce Young?
I don't think... Ooh, no.
We're talking about a quarterback who's 2-16 in his career with a 59.3 completion percentage and an 11-13 touchdown to interception ratio.
See,
it's rough for Bryce Young.
When I think about it, I wanted to rush into a conclusion, just how we did about Justin Fields.
Yeah.
But then when you think about it, Bryce Young is just not a good quarterback in general. Maybe he was too...
He doesn't seem fired up.
Maybe he was rushed. In an interview, actually, he stated that he isn't or
he's not like internally motivated or externally motivated, something like that. Look, if I was Bryce Young, you're 23. You still have your entire career in front of you. If you get benched after going, with only 2 career wins and you're 2-16, you get benched. I know Andy Dalton is a veteran. You can't compare careers. But if you get benched and your replacement is
Andy Dalton?
Yeah, and Andy Dalton, and he, even though he may not be winning every game, but he's putting up stats 10 times better than you. If I were Bryce Young, I would be doing sweats like crazy. I would be crapping my pants right now if I was Bryce Young. And frankly, trade options, I can't see any team that would want to trade for a quarterback who's 2-16. He has everything to prove so far.
See, we all thought maybe it was an O-line issue. Maybe it was his weapons. He now has Adam Thielen up there in age, but still.
He has everything to prove.
I think it is the fact that Bryce Young might not be a good starter. Maybe he's a decent backup. We haven't seen much out of him backup-wise. One game against the Bears, but other than that, I don't think he's a starter at all.
I don't think he is, and, it's going to be very hard to find a trade option for him considering the fact of all the stats that he's put up. He's very unproven, and it's kind of like, what team would want to go and take a chance on a 2-16 career guy to be their starter? Like, that's the thing. In football, it's very hard to be a starter.
Oh, 100%.
And, if you have a string of bad games, then boom, Bryce Young has had 2 years of being bad.
I feel like if he was to be traded, picked up after his contract ends,
it would be as a backup.
100%. And if you were traded, maybe like a late round pick, no higher.
I can't even think of a team that would want to trade for Bryce Young, in all honesty, because you're taking a big risk of putting someone on your roster spot that's so bad. And, Bryce Young could always walk to being back to the starter position. Mm-hmm. But look at Baker Mayfield. That took several years to do for him to go back to being a proven starter. And I think Bryce Young could do that, but it's not going to be in a year. Probably won't even be in 2 years. Bryce Young, his career right now is on the line now. He has more talent than both of us combined.
Oh, 100%.
But 2-16... 11-13 touchdown interception ratio. It's going to be hard to find a trade partner. It's going to be hard for a team to want to take a chance on that.
But speaking of Baker Mayfield, he had a great game against the Falcons.
He really did.
That was a very close game. Kirk Cousins might be back. Might be. Obviously not the best record that you want out of him, but I feel like he might be back. He's finally getting comfortable in Atlanta.
He had a record-setting game over 500 yards. That was beautiful.
It was. Then we have. Can I remember the kicker? Ho. What is it? Ho. Jung.
I don't pay attention that much if it's not New York, man. You know that.
See,
it's just. I love what Kirk Cousins is doing though in Atlanta. That's fun seeing.
And Baker Mayfield, same thing. You just talked about how it took him a few years to get him to finally get it going, but watching him succeed, kind of happy for the guy that he's getting up there. He has a team that actually wants him.
Yes.
So, kudos to him.
Oh, 100%. And folks, that is it for this week's edition of the Bronx Rundown. I'm Dominic Konoreski.
And I'm Derek Abrego.
Tune in every Wednesday at 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time here on YouTube at The New York Sports Show, where we talk everything New York sports.